You talk about the habit stack of super wealthy people. Can you walk us through this habit stack that wealthy people have?
First thing I would say is you've got to believe in your vision when no one believes in your vision until the world believes in your vision. So the first part of the habit stack of the super wealthy people I've worked with is they are careless of the opinions of others.
Careless of the opinions of others.
Careless of the opinions of others. Most of them couldn't care less what we think about their habits, their beliefs, the way they live. They're pirates. They're pirates. They're gangsters. And I think most of us, we're so polite. We're so plugged into the majority consciousness. If someone says, that's a silly idea for your health, or you want to find that person to spend your life with, or you want to go live in Tokyo and go ghost for a year, are you crazy? We say we want to leave our jobs and launch a new venture. First time our parents or our best friends or significant other or stranger in the street says, well, that's not possible. We believe them. George Bernard Shaw said it beautifully. He said, the reasonable man, and obviously woman, but his words were, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in adapting the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man.
Interesting.
So we must not listen to the trolls. We must not feed the trolls. And the billionaires, the financial tycoons, they have a vision. They understand the nature of a disruptive vision is it terrifies the status quo. The status quo doesn't celebrate disruptors. It throws rocks at them. So our job is to take the stones the critics throw at us and build them into monuments that inspire the world. Second thing is, these people are incredibly disciplined. We know from science, discipline is like a muscle. So do difficult things, take the cold baths, join the 5 a.m. club. The project that most frightens you is the one you need to do. The conversation you're most resisting is the one you need to be having. And I would actually go out on a limb for you and say, hard is easy and easy is hard. So I think you want to build a financial fortune. It comes from the consistent doing of difficult things, but it gives you an easier life.
Yes.
And you try to do easy things and hang out with the easy crowd and easy habits and easy books and easy conversations and easy work projects, you have a hard life. So the second thing is they are strong willpower. Thirdly, and you've heard this a million times, but I think of the Japanese proverb, get knocked down 7 times, get up 8. They just like that boxer who just gets down and you just go, stay down, please stay, don't just please, and they're just like they just get back up and they just get back up. And I'm reading Nobu's memoir right now, and man, I don't know if you know his story, but he was a Japanese apprentice sushi chef, comes from very humble beginnings. Went to Argentina. His restaurant ultimately failed. Went back to Japan. Went to Alaska for another opportunity. His restaurant burnt down. This is Nobu. Thought about killing himself. I guess the Japanese honor and
the shame,
right? The shame. People saying he's failing.
Yeah.
So thought about that. His wife pulled him out of it. Started kind of a hole in the wall in not far from where we are. I believe in West Hollywood or Beverly Hills. And I believe it's called Matsu. You probably know.
Yeah. Well, there's Nobu here. Yeah.
Yeah, so he started that one. And one day it started to get some traction. And one day Robert De Niro was brought in by a producer, and Robert De Niro fell in love with the food and said, come to New York, let's start a restaurant. Nobu went, but he wasn't ready. So Robert De Niro kept on coming back for 4 years, different meals, every time he was in LA, loving the food. And eventually he called Nobu and he said, come on. And Nobu said, it's time. And I realized Robert De Niro was waiting 4 years for me to say yes. But my point is absolutely relentless, 40 years in the game, and now he's Nobu. So that would be the third thing. I could go on about the habit stack of the billionaires, but those would be three things that immediately come to mind.
How do you keep your mind and your soul clean of the negativity that may come your way, no matter what your positive intention or how you want to serve people? How do you do that?
Yeah, it was tricky. It was interesting at first because, when I first started ministering, it seemed like everybody loved me and everybody was for me. Then you get a little notoriety, and some of that churns, and when you're not hard enough, or you're too soft, or you're just different things people don't understand. But one thing that helped me, Lewis, is my personality is to want everybody to like me, want everybody to accept me. So, somebody asked me to go mow their lawn, I'll probably do it because I want to do good for you. But I had to come to the realization that not everybody's going to like you and not everybody's going to accept you, and that's okay. Because I go back to the scripture. You can't reach your destiny without people being against you, and even
really,
you look about. If you look at from a Christian point of view, we wouldn't have salvation if Judas had not betrayed Jesus. And so a betrayal was in Jesus' destiny to fulfill God's plan. So I think sometimes we think, well, you know what, I'm not doing anything wrong. Why are these people against me? But I think you have to take it as, okay, some people are not going to understand you. They don't want to understand you. And I think sometimes we spend time and energy trying to convince somebody to like us, and they're never going to like us. I think it's helped me to say, okay, there's a percentage that are not going to like you, not going to understand, and that's okay. Stay focused on your race. And so what I've been good at, and I encourage people often is, man, tune out the negativity. Yeah. Run your race. I believe we only have so much emotional energy each day. It's not unlimited. And I think, even if I think of like this cup of water, if that's all emotional energy, man, how much am I spending for negativity? For unforgiveness, or for what that guy said, or that guy that cut me off in traffic, or the coworker that played politics and left me out. All that energy, that water that I'm giving to that's energy that I don't have for my dreams and my goals. And it helped me to realize that emotional energy is not unlimited. And so if I sit there thinking about what the critics said, or how can I pay them back, or I'm going to get even, man, I need that to come on the School of Greatness and be with you. I need that to love my kids. I need that to go work out this afternoon. So life is too short to waste any of our emotional energy on things that don't matter. Yeah. And I think, Lewis, a lot of times we fight battles that are not significant. They're not between us and our destiny. It really doesn't matter what somebody said about you in one sense. Now, if it's your boss, or if it's, I say this, if it's not between you and your destiny, it's a distraction. Wow. And I think it's easy to get distracted. And I'll tell you, I have minister friends. I can listen to them sometimes. I think, guys, you're preaching to the critics. You're trying to straighten out your critics. And everybody in your audience loves you. But you got a letter or a tweet from somebody that said you didn't do this or that. And we become defensive. And I think that's, even you mentioned that podcast you listened to about keep your walls up. You got to keep things out of your heart. Because they're going to come. Offenses are going to come. People aren't going to understand this. They're going to do things. But you got to keep your heart from a pure place. Otherwise, you become defensive and you start changing. And, if I listen to critics, I'll be harder this way and I'll be easier this way. And you'll forget who you are. So I try to tune it out.
I love that.